Good morning and welcome to New Hanover County Schools The Morning Show. I'm Leah Schwagel.
And I'm Kira Schwagel. Thank you for joining us today.
We start today's show with an announcement for high school students. New Hanover County Schools Television is recruiting high school students to participate in their after-school programs.
Any high school student can volunteer to sit here where we are and be on air, or if they prefer, work behind the scenes.
Television positions such as news anchor, show host, interviewer, sports announcer, and segment host are all available for those interested in being in the spotlight in front of the camera.
There are also many behind-the-scenes positions. Right now, students are directing, running audio and graphics, as well as teleprompter and operating the camera.
In addition to working in the studio, students can join in field shoots covering art events and sports.
It's a great place to do volunteer hours, meet new people, and have fun, all while working in a real TV studio environment.
And it looks great on college applications.
To find out more or get involved, all you need to do is call 254-4180. NHCS TV staff will give you more details and talk about all the wonderful volunteer opportunities.
It's time to check in with the third member of our team, Grayson Borst. She's standing by right now with our first look at the morning news. Good morning, Grayson.
Good morning, Leah and Kira, and welcome everyone to your school news here on the morning show. Topping the headlines this week, Board of Education October meeting notes, NOAA visits C-Tech for exhilarating lunch and learn, and New Hanover County Schools introduces its first podcast. I will have all of those stories and more coming up later in the show.
Thanks, Grayson.
It's time for a staple here on the morning show, This Week in History. Our Grand Master of Historical Knowledge has all the headlines from past times and This Week in History.
Welcome to This Week in History. I'm your historical host, Bryce Barker, covering all the colorful and amazing events that have left their mark on history's timeline. This is the week of October 7th through October 13th. October 7, 2001, a U.S. coalition begins attacks on Taliban-controlled Afghanistan with an intense bombing campaign. The invasion of Afghanistan was the opening salvo in the United States war on terrorism in a response to the September 11th, 2001 terrorist attacks on New York and Washington. October 8, 1919, the first transcontinental air race in the United States begins with 63 planes competing in the round-trip aerial derby between California and New York. As 15 planes departed from San Francisco, California, 48 planes left Roosevelt Field on Long Island, New York. October 9, 1967, socialist revolutionary and guerrilla leader Che Guevara is killed by the Bolivian army. The Bolivian forces, backed by the U.S. military, captured him on October 8th while battling his band of guerrillas. He was assassinated the following day. October 10th, 1780, a powerful storm slams the islands of the West Indies, killing more than 20,000 people. Known as the Great Hurricane of 1780, it was the deadliest storm ever recorded. Many of the deaths occurred at sea as ships had no advance warning. October 11, 1975, Saturday Night Live, a topical comedy sketch, shows that makes its debut on NBC. It will go on to become the longest-running, highest-rated show on late-night television. Finally, your weekend history tidbits. October 12, 1492, after sailing across the Atlantic Ocean, explorer Christopher Columbus sights a Bahamian island. Believing he has reached East Asia, his expedition went ashore and claimed the land for Spain. October 13, 1792, the cornerstone is laid for a presidential residence in the newly designated capital city of Washington. In 1800, President John Adams became the first president to reside in the Executive Mansion, which soon became known as the White House. That's This Week in History, your ultimate source for those key moments in time. I'm Bryce Barker. Thanks for stopping by.
And join us again next time for another journey through time as we explore the fun, fascinating, entertaining, and educational facts that make up This Week in History.
We have plenty more of the morning show ahead, including a special feature from a student at Ashley High School.
But first, as we head to break, we have the Word of the Week. Each week, we highlight an advanced English word so when you use them in a sentence, you can impress even educated speakers. Here's our word of the week.
Jeff Foxworthy here. You know, if you've ever found yourself repeating the same thing for 75 years, you might be Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Well, thing is, there's a lot more to say. Like if you've ever found yourself burning yard debris and then walking away, well, you might be starting a wildfire. So for the love of the outdoors, go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Leah Schwagel.
And I'm Kira Schwagel.
We now have our October segment of North Carolina happenings. Everyone should get out their pen and paper as we take a trip across the state and look at all the events taking place in the coming month.
Whether you're looking for adventure, relaxation, mountains, or beaches, the rhythm of the city life, or the tranquility of nature, there is something happening for everyone here in North Carolina.
Date, October 11th through 13th. Place, Hickory. Event, Oktoberfest in Hickory. Oktoberfest is an outdoor festival which features 3 stages of non-stop live entertainment ranging from traditional polka to rock and roll. Enjoy amusement rides and carnival games, a juried arts and crafts show, and hundreds of food and commercial vendors with streets lined of restaurants and local shops. It runs Friday, 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., then on Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11 p.m. and Sunday 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. Admission is free, and for more information, call 828-332-1121 or visit hickoryoktoberfest.com.
Date, October 19th to the 20th. Place, Banner Elk. Event, 42nd Annual Woolly Worm Festival. Get out your woolly worms, ready for the official Woolly Worm Festival of North Carolina. This family fun festival will include delicious food, over 150 craft vendors, great music, inflatables, fall foliage, and beautiful mountain views. The festival runs Saturday 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and Sunday 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Admissions for kids 5 and under is free, and ages 6 to 12 are $4, while adults are $6. For more information, call 800-972-2183 or visit woollyworm.com.
Date, October 26th. Place, Brevard. Event, Halloween Fest. Bring your favorite ghouls and goblins and enjoy an all-day family-friendly, spooktacular Halloween extravaganza. There will be live music, food, crafts, activities, as well as a costume contest and parade with cash prizes. The Halloween Fest starts at 10 a.m. and goes until 5 p.m. Admission is free, and for more information, visit brevardnc.org.
Date, October 19th. Place, Washington. Event, Smoke on the Water Barbecue Festival and Cook-Off. This annual festival is held in downtown Washington, North Carolina on the beautiful waterfront. Pit masters from all over smoke overnight and are judged by experts. In addition to the barbecue cook-off, other events include the chili cook-off, where a variety of chefs submit their best recipes for cash prize. Visitors can indulge their taste buds as they visit the different chef competitors. The cook-off starts Saturday at 8 a.m. and goes to 5 p.m. For more information, call 252-944-6136 or visit smokeonthewater.info.
Date, October 26th. Place, South Mills. Event, Dismal Day. Join the Dismal Day Swamp State Park for the 7th Annual Dismal Day festivities. They will include craft vendors, food, music, cultural exhibits, raptors, snakes, alligators, wagon rides, scavenger hunts, and much more. A 5K fun run will kick off the day on the Dismal Swamp Canal Trail. There is still time to pre-register or register the day of the event. On October 26th, it runs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and admission is free. For more information, call 252-771-0900 888-888-6593 or visit CamdenCountyNC.com.
If these events weren't enough for you, or you were looking for something different to do, then check out the website www.visitnc.com. Under the Upcoming tab, you will be able to sort and search for something that suits your need.
It's time for our morning news. Let's send it over to Grayson Borst, who has several interesting stories to report. Good morning, Grayson.
Good morning, and welcome to your school news on the morning show. I'm Grayson Borst. Our top story this week, the New Hanover County Board of Education held their regular monthly meeting on Tuesday, October 1st at the Board of Education Center. With the board notes is YSN reporter Johan Yellow.
The Board of Education meeting featured a mix of informational reports, old and new business, and an in-depth look at the school system's testing results. Let's get right to the board notes. Under recognition of achievement, there was a community partnership presentation with the Vocational Rehabilitation Services. They highlighted their work with the school system over the years. That was followed by a school spotlight video for C-Tech High School, produced by the students at the school. There were also several awards recognized, including the National PTA School of Excellence, Ecology Project International Fellowship recipient, National Security Language Initiative for Youth Scholarship recipient, Outstanding Cadet Award, Girl Scout Gold Award, National NAACP AXO, and the Professional Educators of North Carolina Youth Art. Board member Nelson Bellier then gave a Head Start Liaison report, expenditure report, and went over the non-federal share in-kind report. Several reports were given under information. Policy Committee Chairwoman Jeanette Nichols gave an overview of proposed changes to Policy 5400, naming facilities, and Policy 6431, drug testing. The changes to Policy 7440, student promotion, were discussed and approved. The board then received a detailed report on the annual NHCS accountability data. This was a look at how the 2018-19 testing scores compared over time and with the state scores. Under committee report, each of the board committees gave an update on their meeting and their meeting schedules. Under consensus items, John Welmers presented personnel recommendations. Old business included a look at the 2019-2020 calendars for information only. Also under old business was a budget resolution, and local salary schedules were passed. There were 3 items for discussion under new business: budget amendments, surplus, and the 2019-20 low-performing school plans. The next regular Board of Education meeting will be held Tuesday, November 5th at 5:30 p.m. at the Board of Education Center, 1805 South 13th Street. As always, if you cannot attend the meeting in person, you can watch them live right here on NHCS TV, along with the rebroadcast. That's your board notes for October.
Recently, Southeast Area Technical High School students gathered in the school's College and Career Center during a thunderous lunch to learn about the electrifying field of meteorology. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA, sent a representative to talk to the students about their program. NOAA's responsibility is to focus on the atmosphere, water rays, and of course, the conditions of the oceans. The NOAA representative taught students on a variety of exhilarating topics such as natural disasters, jobs, and the atmosphere, as well as how the weather affects transportation. They are also responsible for the National Weather Service and how regions get support after a catastrophe. One fun topic the students enjoyed was a discussion on the thunderous possibility of a Sharknado, which, unsurprisingly, was a likely no. Finally, the Lunch and Learn was ended with a Q&A and a short discussion on Tropical Storm Karen and its position in the Atlantic. It was a great opportunity for students looking into science and math pathways and to learn more about the many opportunities in meteorology. In fact, C-Tech's Lunch and Learn open many doors of opportunity for students. They are a weekly program which teaches students about a variety of pathways, from border patrol to marketing to veterinary, and are led by an expert in that field. Through the Lunch and Learn series, C-Tech students are exposed to a variety of jobs and potential careers. The NHCS Public Relations Division has released its first podcast, Learn, Lead, Listen, with Ryan Redd and Peter Hunt. The podcast series titled NHCS Podcast Voices of the District will present a new podcast each month featuring district teachers, administrators, and staff. The podcast offers another communication vehicle for NHCS to stay connected and to communicate with the community. Chief Communications Officer Valida Quattlebaum stated, "With so many different methods of reaching the public, it is important as a district that we utilize all means. Communication is key to having an efficient and productive school system, and we want to make sure we are communicating with the community on all platforms." A new podcast will be released each month. On October 28th, District Equity Work Group with Deputy Superintendent Dr. LaShawn Smith, Mr. Al O'Brien, and Ms. Frances Williams will be released. You can listen to the podcast from the story on our webpage at nhcs.net. And finally, New Hanover County Schools has been named as an accomplished district by the National Board for Professional Teaching Standards. The National Board recently unveiled a program that recognizes school districts across the country that work hard to promote student learning through accomplished teaching. The National Board Accomplished Districts program will initially honor 81 districts in which at least 20% of its teachers have achieved National Board certification, encouraging teachers to be their best and effectively driving student learning. Districts will be recognized with an award for the district office and unique celebrations for the NBCTs in those districts. New Hanover County Schools will unveil a banner and recognize educators who achieved or renewed National Board certification at the Board of Education meeting on February 4th, 2020. For all of the latest on New Hanover County Schools, join us weekdays at 5 p.m. here on Spectrum Cable Channel 5 and Channel 191 in Carolina Beach for your school news, a complete half hour of all the latest news and information from New Hanover County Schools. Now, back to our hosts.
Thanks, Grayson.
All right, it's time now for this week's lunch menu. This is the menu for Monday, October 7th through Monday, October 14th. On Monday, October 7th, start the week on a high note with perfect pasta and meat sauce served with a garlic knot, top-notch chicken tenders, or a yummy grilled cheese sandwich. As if that's not good enough alone, you can even add grand green beans, sweet potato puffs, tomato and cucumber salad, and delicious diced peaches to top off the meal.
Then, on Tuesday, October 8th, sit down with your friends and enjoy General Tso chicken served with beautiful brown rice, a sloppy joe, or a crispy chicken quesadilla served with Spanish rice. Along with those tasty treats, enjoy California blend vegetables and diced pears.
On Wednesday, October 9th, let the unique flavor of a barbecue riblet sandwich satisfy your hungry stomach. Or if you'd prefer, pick chicken wings served with a dinner roll or a beef taco served with Spanish rice. Round the meal out with pinto beans, garden salad, and palatable applesauce.
On Thursday, October 10th, feast like royalty on a sure-to-please bacon cheeseburger, barbecue chicken, or a hopping hot dog. No matter which you choose, you can add appetizing roast potatoes, black beans, or tasty mandarin oranges.
Then on Friday, October 11th, energize yourself with some sure-to-please chicken nuggets, a beef and cheddar sandwich, or a French bread pizza. Also be sure to add marvelous mashed potatoes, roasted butternut squash, and mixed fruit to your plate for a belly-filling meal.
Finally, on Monday, October 14th, shake off those Monday morning blues at lunch with crispy chicken wings served with a garlic knot, lasagna rolled up served with a yummy garlic knot, or a meatball hoagie. Also take pleasure in drool-inducing broccoli and cheese, creamy pasta salad, tomato and cucumber salad, and diced peaches.
And there you have it, the lunch menu for this week. In addition to those items, milk, a garden salad, fresh fruit, French bread pizza, and a peanut butter and jelly combo will be available daily.
So many delicious choices. Don't forget, you can also start your day off with a healthy and hearty breakfast at school.
All right, when we come back from break, we have a special student testimonial from Ashley High School.
And the Science and Fun-Filled feature 4 awesome discoveries produced by the National Science Foundation.
Great things ahead. Keep it tuned right here.
over. Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique. And your mother and... I am totally a hat person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Welcome back to the morning show. I'm Leah Schwagel. At the end of last year, Ashley High School students created testimonial videos about the classes, programs, and clubs that make the school special and unique. One student, Daniela Sakura, shared a heartwarming of how what she learned in her foreign language classes allowed her to make a connection with someone she never expected to. Here's the story.
My name is Daniela Sakura. I come from a home full of love and joy that has always been cultivated by my two award-deserving, wonderful parents, Daniel and Amanda Sakura. My mom is from North Carolina, but my dad is from Fortaleza, Brazil. When he was 17 years old, he moved to Veracruz, Mexico, and while he only lived there for 2 years, he managed to become fully fluent in Spanish. The time that my dad spent in Mexico was life-changing for him because it not only helped him learn how to communicate and fit in with others, but it helped him excel in life later on to levels that he could have never predicted. My father's influence on the development of my love for the Spanish language has been tremendous. I grew up being spoken to in both Portuguese and English, so from an early age, I was building a foundation of a Latin-derived language as well as a Germanic one. Portuguese and Spanish are very similar and are almost indistinguishable to the untrained ear. As I got older, my language focus shifted over to predominantly English, with the occasional exposure to Portuguese and Spanish at my grandparents' house or when my family traveled to Latin America. Fast forward a few years, and it's the summer after 9th grade. I've just completed Spanish Level 2 and am about to go to Chichicastenango, Guatemala on a mission trip with my church. We are going with a group of around 15 people, and I'm the only one with a Spanish background. The citizens of Chichicastenango speak a native dialect referred to as Quiche, with Spanish usually being their second language. One day on the trip, we decide to go to the open-air market that the town is known for. It is pouring outside, but the experience of going to this market is so amazing that we know that it is going to be worth every drop of rain that we encounter. As we enter the market area, we are flooded by little girls and old women ranging from ages 5 to 80 trying to sell us knickknacks and souvenirs that read Guatemala in vibrant hues. In their memorized phrases of broken English, we hear them shouting, "Come buy from me, I make you happy, I give you good deal." This type of desperation is completely different than anything that we will ever see in the United States, because here in the U.S., there are countless opportunities to grow from what you began with. The ability to change one's socioeconomic status is a very unique thing to first world countries, which only, according to the UN, make up 15% of the world, and that is why it is imperative to expose ourselves to different cultures and learn about the world around us. As we continue throughout the market, the little girls following us start to give up and go on to the next white person that they see in hopes of making a sale, but after a full hour of walking around and exploring, we look behind to see a frail, elderly woman who hasn't left our side since we arrived. It starts to rain again, and we invite her into a small bakery that we see to get out of the mess and grab something to eat. Not sure how to start, I ask the woman what her name is, and she replies with a strong and kind, "Me llamo Juana." I begin to speak to her in my wobbly Spanish, unsure of myself and worried that if I make a grammatical error, I'll mess up and it'll get ruined, but as we continue talking, I realize that I understand everything that she is saying. Sure, there are some specific words that I don't know due to lack of exposure, but other than that, I understand what she's telling me. At this point, I'm in almost a state of shock because I've never had an experience like this before. Many non-native Spanish speakers claim to remember the moment when everything began to click, and this was the moment for me. Every instance in my life when I had heard even just one word of Spanish had culminated to this exact conversation. It was like a switch in my brain had flipped. Juana told me her life story and explained what life was like living in Chichicastenango as a seamstress and mother of 3 going through poverty. This simple 10-minute conversation changed my life because I had not only reached a turning point in my understanding of the Spanish language, but I had developed an appreciation for Latin American culture. This woman's life was so interesting despite her seemingly basic routine that would come off as rudimentary to an American, and the fact that she was just so happy and full of pure joy didn't make sense to me at first. But then I realized that this is what it was all about. Not everyone is the same as your standard American, and although we are all made of the same flesh and blood, on a global perspective, everyone is unique and shaped differently by the culture that they grew up in. And that is what makes learning about another culture so special. By learning the language and customs of a certain place, it feels like you're being let in on a secret that nobody knows about. But in actuality, anybody can be let in on a secret if they want to, due to the many resources that we are given by our county. At Ashley High School, we have 4 Spanish teachers, 3 of which have taught me, and 1 French teacher. Every student that goes to Ashley is required to take only 2 levels of Spanish in order to graduate, which is just 2 semesters that could be knocked out if they really wanted to in just a year. Many students see this requirement as annoying and not worth their time. Even the majority of my friends see Spanish class as a hindrance on their daily schedule and not as a fun and enlightening class that will actually help them in the real world. I know that not everyone is going to have this same situation that I did, because I'll admit it, I had an advantage by having one of my parents speak the language that I was trying to learn, but I speak from observation and experience in saying that it is invaluable to learn another language. The brain consists of 2 types of tissue, gray matter and white matter. The amount of gray matter in the brain is directly correlated with IQ, and gray matter grows the fastest during childhood and adolescence, according to the U.S. National Library of Medicine. Studies have also proven that by learning another language, gray matter begins to grow again, no matter your age. Being bilingual can bolster job applications and college applications, and because it can help with cultural communication abroad, it's so invaluable. As Nelson Mandela once said, if you talk to a man in a language he understands, it goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, it goes to his heart. If you're ever in another country and need to communicate with someone, there's a much higher chance that you'll be treated with respect and actually listened to if you make the active decision to try and communicate with that person in their language with them, even if you make a mistake, because it shows effort and humility. I know that sometimes it can feel like English is the only language that matters, and that we don't need to try to learn another language because if we live in America and plan on staying in the country, it doesn't make sense, but it is vital to take on a world perspective and leave the bubble of the U.S. We need to try and not be as self-oriented and look at America as a part of the world, not the epicenter. By changing our mindset and developing a cultural understanding, we can broaden our horizons and allow for more opportunities in life to be available to us. All this can be achieved if we simply receive and accept what we learn in high school from our wonderful teachers and make something out of it, because the knowledge that we attain with us at this age will stay with us forever.
Thank you, Daniela, for sharing your story with us.
You never know when things you learn in school will be needed in life. I'm sure many students have had similar experiences.
I'm sure. It's time now for a fast-moving, science-packed segment of 4 awesome discoveries.
Have you been paying attention to the latest breakthroughs in science? If not, fear not, because our friends at the National Science Foundation have put 4 of them in a video for you.
Here's a quick look at recent new discoveries and some great information about each one.
We're back with 4 awesome discoveries you probably didn't hear about this week.
Scientists have discovered how plants sound the alarm when they're attacked by insects and other herbivores. Calcium signals. Here's a caterpillar munching through a leaf. See the blaze of fluorescent light washing over the other leaves? That light is tracking calcium as it zips through the plant's tissues, providing an electrical and chemical signal to prepare for attack. The chemical is activated by glutamate exiting the plant's wounds. Within minutes, the leaves produce noxious chemicals to ward off predators.
Fighting ice with ice. Unlike traditional de-icing methods using man-made chemicals or heat, this new technology is the world's first passive anti-frosting surface, using just the chemistry of ice itself. It works by patterning ice stripes onto a microscopic array of elevated, untreated aluminum grooves. The grooves intentionally form ice and pull in nearby moisture, keeping the rest of the surface free from dew or frost. It's eco-friendly and more efficient than salt. Possible applications: aerospace and HVAC industries, and yes, even windshields.
Scientists have determined 4 personality types using new data from surveys of 1.5 million people and a new algorithm to crunch the results. So what are the types? Average, reserved, self-centered, and role model. They're all based on 5 character traits. The research also reveals changes in those characteristics as people mature. The comprehensive data analysis dispels established paradigms in psychology.
For many insect species, wings can be like fingerprints. No two patterns are the same. Researchers have developed a new computer model that sheds light on how the patterns form. They first had to gather hundreds of specimens and segment each individual polygonal shape made from the intersecting veins in the wings. The model works so well it sometimes fools the researchers, generating patterns close to the real thing for even distantly related species. This may be helpful for studying the evolution of wing structure.
And there you go. See you next week with 4 more awesome discoveries with funding from NSF.
Wow, those were some neat discoveries. De-icing by using ice. It's amazing what scientists think of.
And what about nature? I thought seeing how a plant can defend itself with releasing chemicals was very neat.
We live in a fascinating world.
Yes, we do. If you enjoyed that segment, keep it tuned to our channel for Science 360, a full show from the National Science Foundation featuring a host of science news and information.
We head to break with our new modern music bumper. These quick looks and listens of the musicians of our time were created this summer by NHCS TV intern Dylan Roberts.
We'll be right back.
Look at it this way, I mean technically our marriage is saved. Well, this calls for a toast, so pour the champagne. Oh, well in fact, well I'll look at it this way, I mean technically our marriage is saved. Well, this calls for a toast, so pour the champagne, pour the champagne.
There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Good morning and welcome back to The Morning Show. I'm Kira Schwigel.
And I'm Leah Schwigel.
We have some great segments ahead, but first we have our Did You Know?
Did you know the diamond is the hardest natural substance on Earth?
It is a common myth that diamonds are formed by applying pressure to coal. Most diamonds are actually formed inside the Earth's mantle.
Diamonds are brought to the surface of the Earth whenever an event occurs, such as a volcanic eruption. They are brought to the Earth's surface in large chunks of rocks that contain diamonds, and these are called xenoliths.
Before the eruption, diamonds are created in something called a diamond stability zone. This zone is found in the upper mantle of the Earth.
Diamonds need extremely high temperatures to form, which is why this zone has a temperature of over 1,000 degrees Celsius.
It's also an area of extremely high pressure, usually found 150 kilometers below the Earth's surface.
Diamonds are mined all over the world. Russia currently produces the most diamonds by volume and value. Only around 30% of diamonds mined are gem quality.
And they are a dynamic duo with Did You Know?
While diamonds are valuable to jewelers, the next segment focuses on something valuable to New Hanover County schools, the employees. NHCS Staff Spotlight is a segment where we talk with the people who work behind the scenes to keep our school system functioning and improving.
This morning, we will meet lead payroll associate and find out all about her staff and her job.
My position here is I work as part of the payroll team, and we actually process payrolls for approximately 4,000 employees at about 45 schools and all of our various departments. We work within a lot of different schedules, whether they're a teacher on our 10-month schedule, whether they're at a year-round school, or whether they're a 12-month employee, or of course our hourly employees. So we have our hands full. As far as myself goes, I have actually been in the human resource and payroll field for about 25 years. Some in private industry, and actually joined New Hanover's staff about 2 years ago after my move from Pennsylvania. Yes, I'm another northerner, and I love it here. The area, the team, it's a great environment to be in. As far as the day-to-day challenges that we face, it's just the coordination. We work with a lot of different people to collect the information that we need. We have to work with the Human Resource Department to find out new hires coming in, people that may be leaving, going on leave of absence and such. We also work very closely with our school contacts because There are people who see the employees on a day-to-day basis. So it's just the coordination of getting everything together so everything gets completed accurately. I feel our job supports needless to say, the teachers in the fact that they're getting a paycheck. We also have to monitor all of our budgets within the finance area to make sure everything is being spent the way it is allocated, you know, whether it's through the state money, whether it's local money or federal money. So the finance department as a whole is supporting everything that's going on in the school. You know, our accounts payable department is paying anything from utilities up through supplies. You know, we have expense reimbursements as well as other areas. So the finance department is really a critical part of, you know, of the county as a whole. I think the favorite part of the payroll position itself is the teamwork that we have. Although each of us actually focus on a specific list of schools and departments, we all function as a team. And when one person is bogged down, we're all jumping in to help, so those deadlines are met. We have a staff of 5 employees here in payroll, plus our payroll supervisor, and it's never a position where it's, well, that's your job, I'm not going to help. But we all help each other to meet those deadlines. And some months it's very tough, other months it's not quite as bad.
Thank you, Trudy, for all you do for New Hanover County Schools, the students and the employees.
And all year long, here on The Morning Show, we will feature staff and student highlights and special features, so be sure to tune in each week.
Now, we continue our show with a brand new segment of gardening and nature.
Even though fall is here and it's getting a little cooler outside, it's still a good time to enjoy nature.
Our friends from the Cape Fear Garden Club continue to provide us with wonderful information and tips for you to put to use at home.
In this new episode, host Barbara Downing travels to the New Hanover County's Arboretum. She sits down with Susan Brown and teaches us about pollinators and creating pollinator gardens.
Good morning and welcome to Gardening and Nature. I'm Barbara Downing. We're here at the New Hanover County Arboretum, and today we're going to hear about why all the buzz about pollinator gardens. Our guest this morning and a worker bee here in the gardens is Susan Brown, and you are the Consumer Horticulture Extension Agent for New Hanover County.
Correct.
All right. And we could start off by you telling us how you describe a pollinator garden.
So a pollinator garden is typically filled with abundant flowers. You want to make sure that they all have different sizes because each pollinator species has a different way of collecting the nectar or pollen from the plant. So you'll find a lot of different types of plants, but you'll also find you want to put them in groupings of the same type so that when they do come, they find it's easier to find those particular plants. You also want to be sure that you have season extension, and we'll talk more about that, I'm sure.
Right. Why do we need pollinator gardens?
Well, if you like to eat food, it's really important to have pollinator gardens because 1 out of every 3 bites of food has been pollinated by a pollinator.
All right. And in terms of species, what are the pollinators?
We've got a great deal. We have actually over 500 species of pollinators. Actually, we have 500 species of native bees, and people often focus on the honeybee, but we actually have a lot of native bees that do some pollinating. Butterflies, people always think about butterflies, but flies, beetles, all kinds of pollinators.
I also read about hummingbirds and bats. I hadn't even thought about that.
That's correct, yeah.
They oftentimes will spread their seeds around too. Why are native plants important to pollinator gardens?
So native plants have evolved with the native pollinators, and oftentimes some particular species of pollinators can only feed off of one type of plant. Most people are familiar with the monarch butterfly and the butterfly weed. The two go hand in hand. If you have no butterfly weed or food source, you have no monarchs.
All right, and which foods depend on direct pollination?
Most of our fruits, of course you know your tomatoes, your squashes, cucumbers, pumpkins, persimmons, apples, you name it. And we all know about our almonds, so pretty much a lot of things we eat.
So
fruits, vegetables,
and nuts.
All the good, healthy stuff.
Right. So, and just to clear up, what is the other kind of pollination like for grains? That's wind.
Correct.
Wind.
And
Okay.
if you look at the seeds, you can tell that they're developed for wind because the seeds are completely different.
All right, great. Okay, so, and then what can you add to an existing landscape to support pollinators?
So, you know, you could do something as simple as just adding a bird bath so that you have a source of water. But I'll always encourage you to add native plants. You don't have to take everything out and do 100% native, but to at least try to get it, 5 species of natives. If you have a large pollinator garden, you want to do, if you're picking your plants out, let's say you want to do butterfly weed, you want to do at least 3 of that one butterfly weed. And then you can do 3 black-eyed Susans, 3, Stokesia, any other plants that you want, but you really want to try to do them in groupings.
And I think you suggested there were like 5 major ones in terms of the butterfly weed, the Stokes aster, the goldenrod, which is not ragweed.
That's correct. It does not cause you to sneeze.
Right. Trumpet vine, and then the panic grass.
I love the panic grass. It's a tough grass, yes.
Yes. So, so whether you want to get rid of your lawn and have a meadow garden, or you just want to support the pollinators with your own landscaping.
Correct.
Or if you truly want a whole pollinator garden, if you have an area that you can do this, especially you were suggesting to do it near where you're trying to grow vegetables.
Yes, because that helps, with the pollination, of course. But even if you have a small space and you can only do it in a container, anything helps.
Oh.
So even on a small scale, if you can plant flowering plants, that will help as well.
Okay, great.
Another thing to consider too is a clover lawn. They did a study and found that the highest neighborhoods that had pollinators as far as the numbers and diversity were the poorer neighborhoods where they weren't spraying herbicides on their lawns on a regular basis.
And you were saying clover, like?
Just the little white clover. Yeah.
Okay. So, and that I think is kind of attractive.
It is, yeah.
So, okay. Thank you, Susan, for having us. And I have particularly enjoyed looking at all these things and being surrounded by all these bees and butterflies and other insect friends this morning, dragonflies. So appreciate having you, or having me here with you. And so back to you.
Thank you, Barbara.
That was great information. Hopefully some of our audience will be inspired to create a pollinator garden.
Okay, everyone, get your thinking caps ready, because when we come back from break, it's game time.
What challenge trivia game awaits today?
Keep it tuned here to find out.
We'll be right back.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome to Game Time. I'm your host, Grayson Borst. Normally on Game Time, we have a theme and share information on it before challenging our contestants' knowledge. While many episodes will feature this format, this year we are mixing it up a bit and will have a special safety segment combined with a random knowledge or tricky trivia game. And that is what we have in store for today. Let's send it over to our contestants and see what safety tips they have for us. Welcome to Game Time, Leah and Kira.
Thanks, Grayson.
Our first safety feature is an important one for younger students and their parents, as well as anyone who could use a few safety tips while cooking.
These tips are brought to you by FEMA and the Norwell Fire Department, and will tell you a few things you may need to know about being safe around the stove.
Here's our feature on cooking safety.
Guess it's my turn to clean up. And I'll be scrubbing extra hard because I want to make sure I get all the spilled food off the stove. That's because a hot burner can easily ignite grease and food that has splashed out of the pan. Spilled food inside an oven or microwave is bad too. Looks like this one is overdue for a cleanup. But it isn't just splattered grease and spilled food that can start a fire. It's pretty much anything that can burn, like this hand towel, for example. Every time I get ready to cook, I start the recipe with a clean sweep of the stove area. I move anything that could burn off the stovetop and a good distance away from it. Don't forget to look around the stove too. If paper towels, curtains, or anything else that can burn is too close, it's a good idea to move it. Spices too close to the burners, oil, or other items near the stove should be moved. These things may seem harmless, but all of them can catch fire. And now it's time to clean. I don't want to hear about it from the rest of the squad. Wow, we had a big group of preschoolers visiting the station today. They were really great kids, and I think they learned a lot about fire safety. I've got a couple of kids myself, and I do worry about them. That's because very young children have a higher risk of getting burned, and not just by fire. The kitchen is an especially dangerous area. From the time my kids were little, I taught them to stay well away from the stove. Kids can suffer terrible burns by reaching up and touching a burner or pulling a hot pot down onto themselves. A smart way to prevent that kind of tragedy is to measure a kid-free zone all around the stove and cooktop. We let our kids mark the borders with bright tape until they learn the distance by heart. Make the zone at least 3 feet so the cook has plenty of space and the kids are out of danger from spills. It's not easy raising children. Having a kid-free zone gives parents one less thing to worry about. Of course, we still need to keep a close eye on them. That's my cue. I gotta run. I love to cook, don't you? I have a great meal planned for the squad tonight, and I sure don't want to ruin it by ending up with a burn. In my job, I see burn injuries every day, and some of them cause a lifetime of pain and scarring. The good news is that burn injuries are easily prevented. I keep oven mitts and pot holders ready to help protect against burns. I always wear short sleeves or roll up my sleeves to keep my shirt away from the hot burner. The stove isn't on yet, but you can see how a long, loose sleeve could catch fire. And I'm especially careful with steam. It's ready. Look at this popcorn. You can see that a lot of steam has built up. Always uncover heated food so the steam goes away from you. Hot liquids can scald a child in only seconds, so families with young children need to take a few extra steps. It's just too dangerous to hold a child and try to drink a cup of coffee at the same time. Always check hot food before you give it to the kids, because you can't count on them to check it for themselves. If you are burned, put a minor burn under cool water, not cold, for 3 to 5 minutes. Get medical treatment right away for a serious burn. See? It's easy to prevent burns.
Thanks for those important safety tips. They were excellent.
For more safety tips, visit www.usfa.fema.gov.
We now send it back over to Grayson, who will explain the rules of our game and get things going.
Welcome back, Grayson.
Thank you. Today we have a morning show trivia challenge. I will ask a trivia question from a range of categories. If you think you know the answer, you must buzz. The first person to buzz gets to answer. If you blurt out an answer without buzzing or winning the buzz, it will not count. Also, if you buzz before I finish asking a question, then you have to answer it then. I will not read the rest. If the person to answer is wrong, the other contestant gets a chance to answer. Finally, if you are both stumped on one, I will give the answer and we will move on. There are 15 questions. Okay, contestants, are you ready? Here we go. When Sesame Street first aired, Oscar the Grouch was not green. What color was he originally? A, orange, B, yellow, C, brown, or D, gray?
That was aggressive.
I gotta say brown.
That is not correct.
Darn.
Was he yellow?
That was not correct either.
Wow.
He was orange.
Oh.
Interesting.
Number 2. Another Sesame Street question. During a 2004 episode of Sesame Street, Cookie Monster said his name before he started eating cookies. What was his name? Was it A, Alexander, B, Carl, C, Sid, or D, Earl?
Earl.
That is not correct.
All right, I gotta go. Wait, is it mine now?
Yes.
It's mine now. Okay, Alexander?
That is not correct either. It was C, Sid.
I don't remember.
Sid the Cookie Monster. Ah.
Speaking of names, Shaggy of Scooby-Doo fame has a rather proper real name. What is it? A, Andy James, B, Norville Rogers, C, Killian Shannon, or D, Steve Sanders?
I didn't think it was any of those.
All right, we'll try the Shannon one.
That is not correct.
Wow, we're killing it today.
What answer option was that?
C.
I'm gonna go B.
That is correct.
Woo!
Norville Rogers. 1 point for Kira. Fourth question. About 1 in every 4 million lobsters is born with a rare genetic defect that turns it what color? A, blue, B, yes?
Blue.
That is correct.
I knew that one.
You know your lobsters, man.
I don't know why.
True or false? There really was a Captain Morgan?
It's a 50-50.
Captain Morgan? Like, as in...
like the...
it is. Okay, well, wait, you got it though first, didn't you?
No, I didn't tap it.
Okay, there really was a Captain Morgan. That's the question?
Yes.
Sure.
That is correct.
Great.
He was a Welsh pirate who later became the Lieutenant Governor of Jamaica.
Fantastic.
All right.
Another true or false. Female mosquitoes will not bite you.
I feel like it's
false.
Correct.
Yeah, I definitely thought it was the other way.
In fact, only female mosquitoes will bite you, males will not.
The males are
Good
the male
news.
ones.
All right, question 7. Kool-Aid was originally marketed as what? A, Tasty Juice, B, Fruit Smack, C, Cool Jewel, or D, Refresh Aid?
A?
No.
Oh, goodness.
D.
That isn't correct either. It was B, Fruit Smack.
Interesting.
Right. That's an interesting choice.
Hawaiian Punch was originally developed in 1934 as what? A, a tropical flavored ice cream topping, B, children's cough syrup, C, food dye, or D, a fruity barbecue sauce?
Okay, you made a face with the fruity barbecue sauce. We're gonna guess that one.
That is not correct.
Is it B?
That isn't correct either. It was a tropical flavored ice cream topping.
Should have known. Barbecue sauce just is
funny.
Doesn't sound right.
Question 9. The duffel bag gets its name from what? A, the Eiffel Tower, B, airline bag boy Duffel Wallace, C, guitarist Duff McKagan, or D, the town of Duffel, Belgium?
B.
No.
Is it Duffel, Belgium?
That is correct.
Oh, all right.
Question 10. The thing that you use to dot your lowercase I is called a what? A tittle, B, an overlay, C, a hasher, or D, an E mark.
Could you repeat those?
You're
again?
gonna have to repeat. I'm sorry. A tittle, B, an overlin, C, a hasher, or D, an E mark.
A.
That is correct.
Okay. Cool.
These are funny names. There was a long-lost fourth member of the Snap, Crackle, Pop game. What was his name? A, Bing, B, Pow, C, Bam, or D, Boom?
That's you.
Leah.
Is it Pow?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
True or false? Hallmark sells a line of encouragement cards you can send to people who've lost their job.
Who've lost their job?
Yes.
True.
That is true.
Sounds right.
I figured that they would do that.
The Q in Q-tips stands for what? A, quantity, B, quiet, C, quality, or D, queen?
C.
That is correct.
Oh, we're tied.
Yeah, we are.
Question 14. What was the string on boxes of animal crackers originally placed there for? A, so it would look like a purse, B, so it could be hung from a Christmas tree, C, so it could be hung on doorknobs of good children, or D, so it could be hung on an animal?
B.
That's correct.
How'd you know that?
I don't know.
Question 15. How did Curious George get to America? A, he was born in an American zoo. B, he mistakenly climbed onto an airplane heading to America. C, he flew home with the animals from the Madagascar movies. Or D, he was captured by the man in the yellow hat.
That's you.
I gotta go D.
That is correct. I did not know that he was captured.
I thought he crawled in.
Poor guy.
Okay, that is all the questions we have. And our trivia contest winner is Kira. Congratulations. You have won this edition of Game Time.
Good game, Kira.
Good game.
Well, that does it for this edition of the morning show.
Please friend us on Facebook. Just search for the New Hanover County Schools TV page.
And follow us on Twitter for all the latest and most up-to-date announcements at NHCS TV.
Remember, for all the best TV, keep it here every day and tune right here for New Hanover County Schools TV on the Learning Network.
Have a great day.
And a wonderful week.